everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our final webinar of the year. I don't know how we're here already. It has flown by, my friends, but welcome to the Zoom room. We're so excited to have you here. Get you some water or tea or coffee. Get you a little blanket if it's chilly where you are, like it is here in Michigan. Get cozy, get ready. It's going to be such a fun and fabulous webinar today, my friends. I am so excited to welcome you into the Zoom room here. It's going to be a party, okay? So get ready for a fun and fabulous party. Princey, great to have you here. Todd, welcome from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Amazing to have you in the Zoom room. Please do hit up that chat. Let us know you're here. We want to hear from you, please. We've got Rima, we've got Tori, Brooke, of course, running everything behind the scenes. Thank you, Brooke. So amazing to see all of these names, many of them familiar. Patrick and Chelsea. Oh my goodness, it's great to see y'all. Where are we at? We're in New York. We're in Tampa, Florida. We are in Texas and Ohio. Wisconsin, oh my goodness, Oregon, Texas. We got all the coasts here. We got everything in between as well. So it is amazing to see everybody popping in. Welcome, friends. Boulder, hey, I used to live in Denver, not too far from Boulder. Got my friends there in Boulder. So welcome, everyone. I'm so excited. Are you ready today? Because listen, it is going to be action-packed, okay? We have so much going on in today's session, the final webinar of the year. I don't know how we're there already. It is wild. So welcome again to the Zoom room. It is great to have you here. Please, it's already happening, but please drop in the chat your name, your organization, where you're Zooming in from today. We want to read it. We want to hear from you. We want to welcome you to the room. So keep it going, friends. So good to see you, Georgina. Welcome, Amanda, Vanessa. It's so great to have you here. Let me go ahead and introduce myself since we're all doing our introductions here. So my name is Stephanie. I am your webinar host today. Lucky me. I have loved connecting with our amazing customers here at Givebutter and have previously been on some nonprofit development teams as well, okay? And have been a fundraiser for over 15 years. So listen, y'all, you're in good company. We're all here working together for you. So keep that chat going. We're going to go ahead and slide into talking about housekeeping. I don't want any delays here because there is so many exciting things that we're going to be talking about today. So few things to keep in mind. The recording and slides will be emailed to you after the webinar. That's always the big question. So yes, they will be coming to you, no problem. Please use the Q&A chat to ask your questions. We want to hear from you. We want those questions. Just make sure they get into the Q&A chat, but you can keep the comments and the emojis and the regular chat channel like you're doing now. We love it. We want to see that engagement. And as always, not that we have to tell y'all, please keep the chat kind, welcoming, and respectful. That's just how we roll here at Givebutter. So now that we've got some housekeeping out of the way, as our fam knows, Givebutter is your all-in-one fundraising solution. We've got your back for all of your fundraising activities, your hosting of events, your ticket sales, your auctions. Let me tell you, I see it every day and it's amazing. But we also offer incredible features, bells and whistles for your donor management and donor engagement needs. You want it? We got it. So just let us know if you have questions. We got you there. But we just keep building, y'all. We don't want to stop. We don't slow down. We have just unlocked a new Givebutter Academy course, Recurring Giving. Okay, so while Giving Tuesday has come and gone, this is the perfect time to think about building a community around your cause in the new year. So check out our Academy course. It's hosted by your favorite and mine, the amazing Claudia, to jumpstart your monthly giving program. It's fantastic. Y'all are not going to want to miss it. But the exciting news does not stop there because it's just coming and coming today. Let me tell you, my teammate, Kristen Tomlinson, the amazing manager of community and partnerships here at Givebutter, has some incredible news to share about our recent Givebutter Gives Back for Giving Tuesday. So Kristen, I feel like we need a drum roll. Let's do this.
Thanks, Steph. Hey guys, I have the distinct honor of overseeing our Give Butter Gives Back Giving Tuesday initiative this year. And this is the fourth year in a row we've done this initiative. And this year, Givebutter offered 5K matching donations to five incredible organizations for the most engaging campaigns. Our judges scoured hundreds of submissions, and we were able to narrow it down to the top five. It was very difficult, but we were able to do it. And right now, we're going to see those top five campaigns, as well as hear from those organizations about what this match means and what they plan on doing with it. So, first up, we have a Big Paws of the Ozarks, which is a dog rescue located in Northwest Arkansas. They aim to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome the most vulnerable dogs in their own community. Oh, I think we apologize, the volume's not working. There we go. Oh, Brooke, I think we might be having a volume issue. You know what? But that's okay. We will drop these videos in the chat so you guys can review them and see the great work that these organizations are doing. Next up, we have Boston Dance Studios, which is a dance studio committed to providing high quality, authentic dance education so that dancers can reach their personal and professional goals. And let's see, Brooke, if you're able to share your sound. Let's see if this one works. Let's see. Oh, you know what, guys? It's okay. We're just gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep rolling with the punches. We're gonna do it. Okay. Next up, we have again, we will drop these videos in the chat for all of you guys to review. These organizations are incredible, and you definitely want to hear what this match means to these orgs and what they plan on doing with the match. Next up, we have the Diabetes Family Connection, which is on a mission to positively transform the lives of people living with type 1 diabetes through the power of community. Incredible. And then we have Rock to the Future, which helps youth in Philadelphia have access to transformative music programs. And last but certainly not least, we have Icing Smiles, which creates smiles by sharing custom dream cakes for kids impacted by critical illnesses. Thanks, guys, and keep a lookout for our recap blog, which will again be at givebutter.com/Giving Tuesday. That is coming in the works. So make sure to check out that recap blog, which will have all the winners as well as the amazing impact that we all did this Giving Tuesday. Thanks, guys, and I'll hand it back to you, Steph.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kristen. Sorry, fam, about the sound. You know how we do sometimes. That sound just doesn't want to participate. But as Kristen mentioned, all of those videos are going in the chat, so you can check all those out. In fact, please do. You want to hear their stories. It's really wonderful to check in and learn about their missions and what they did for Giving Tuesday. It's a really cool thing. So definitely check out those videos. And listen, congrats to all the winners, but also everyone who participated in our Givebutter Gives Backer winners. The funds that you raised and the support you brought into your organization is incredible. So well done, fam. Well done. We are so excited for you. But now, all right, here we go. We've had so much excitement already, but listen, it's just going to keep getting better and better, okay? It is time to dive in to our fabulous presentation, the year-end fundraising playbook for maximizing donations in the last 1 to 3 days of the year. Okay, this is a very big, very important topic. So we invited the one and only Candace Cody to share her wisdom with us. So If you have not met Candace yet, you are in for a treat. She is the director of events at the wonderful Community Boost. With over 10 years serving the nonprofit sector, Candace works to provide free educational resources to help nonprofits boost their audience and donations, and has led the effort on the Nonprofit Marketing Summit that we love, impacting over 150,000 nonprofit professionals. What a joy, Candace. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me. I am so excited to be here today, and I hope that y'all are in the holiday spirit. We are in the season of giving, so I'm wearing my elf hat. Hopefully, I will be your helper today in helping you raise more the last 3 days of the year. Thank you again to Stephanie and the entire Givebutter team. And I am excited because the biggest days of giving are ahead of us. So we have so much I'm excited to share about. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen here and let us go. I know we have a lot to get to, and my hope for you today is that you come away with one, two, maybe even three simple things that you can do to raise more in these last few days of the year. So wherever you are at in your year-end journey, I am here for you. Hopefully, I don't overwhelm you. I think I'm going to be sharing a lot of tactics that you might already be doing, and that's also great confirmation of that you're already moving in the right direction for your year-end initiatives. And then hopefully I'll share a few new things that you can incorporate as we head into year ends. Stephanie gave me such a wonderful introduction. I don't have to share too much more about myself, but just so you all know, I spent 6.5 years working with nonprofits just like yours on their year-end campaigns. And so I have worked with hundreds of organizations directly myself on their year-end fundraising. And so I'm excited to share a couple of the things that I have learned in my day. So just a little bit more about Community Boost so that you know where I'm coming from now. So Community Boost exists to scale social impact by growing thriving communities with the power of digital marketing. So over the last 12 years, we have impacted over 1,300 organizations that we have served directly, raising over $130 million in donation revenue. We also host the Nonprofit Marketing Summit, of which Givebutter is our longtime partner for, and we would love to see you back there this year. But to date, for our past 9 nonprofit marketing summits, we have actually had over 150,000 nonprofit professionals register for the free conference. And so if you haven't come in the past, we would love to see you next time, March 4th through 6th. And our friends at Givebutter will be there as well. And if you have come in the past, welcome back. And I'm excited to see you again. So enough about me, enough about Community Boost. I want to know more about you. How is your year-end fundraising going so far? I know we just passed Giving Tuesday. We're in the thick of it now. Is it going great? Are you actually on pace to exceed your goals? Is it going good? Are you on pace to basically hit your goals? Like, is it going okay where it could go either way? You're hoping things kind of pick up? Or has it been a little bit more of a challenge this year for
Hey,
you?
Candace. So sorry to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you there. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties. We're just seeing your screen, not the presentation. So I think we're getting it worked on with Princey, but just so you know, we can't see the slideshow. So just wanted to let you know, my friend.
Let me get back into it. It says that screen share. I'm gonna stop and reshare my screen. But in the meantime, I think we can get that poll cruise in while I get my slides up.
Perfect.
Can you see them now?
It looks like it. I think that we are good now, my friend. Thank you
All
so much.
right. Great. Thank you. Please feel free to interrupt me anytime. I love to fix things as we go. So we'll leave that poll up for just a second. I really want to get a chance to know everyone who's here today. Um, so hope it's going great. If it's going great, you probably can teach the rest of us. So drop your tips in the chat too. If it's going good, we hope to get you to great. If it's okay or challenging, we're gonna get you there today too. So excited to really get into it. Looks like we're about to share those results. All right. I love to see the results, really get an understanding of who here is in the room. It looks like this time of year is quite a bit challenging for 33% of you. Another 33% of you are in that okay range. And then we have the rest of you in that good to great range. So that's a pretty even split. I am just even more excited because I think that all of you here today will get something that can move you closer to that great for your organization. And I want to share really just what I'm going to be talking about. So we have 6 top high level strategies that you can use to capture attention this year end. This is going to be a little bit shorter that I'm going to get into these, but this is just high level things that you're going to want to take a look at. If you don't already have these things in place, now's the time to start thinking about them. And then we're going to get really specific and dive into tactics. So strategies are more like the overall arching concepts that can help drive growth, where tactics are really specific things that you can do and tweak for this year end so that you don't have to do any major overhauls to what you're already doing. Just add in a few additional tactics and you're already now set to capitalize on the last 3 days of the year, even more so. And then I'm going to do a quick best practice to drive a long-term growth throughout 2025. So excited to get into all of this. And so you may have heard that the last 3 days of December is the most important few days of the entire year when it comes to nonprofit fundraising. I looked up multiple reports, and ultimately, those last 3 days are so critical for organizations. About 26 to 31% of all donations are made during the final month of the year. So we're at December 10th. You're already seeing donations uptick most likely during this time of the year. But those last 3 days, 10 to 12% of all gifts are made in the last 3 days of the year. So your biggest giving days are ahead of you. And now is the perfect time to make those small tweaks that you can do on your end to really maximize those gifts and not just meet, but exceed your goals. So it's never been more important for you to really dial in your strategy. Also, this may be a hot topic, but I've seen different reports that say different things. This actually comes from my days at a fundraising platform, where at that fundraising platform where I used to work, we saw 58% of donors actually completing their donations on mobile devices. And this has everything to do with how prepared you are to accept donations on mobile, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit. But something to keep in mind when looking at your strategy, if you're using Givebutter, it's already optimized for mobile, so you're in a good place to maximize those mobile gifts. December 30th and 31st are such important giving days that for many nonprofits, they actually bring in more revenue than Giving Tuesday. So if you've put a lot of emphasis on Giving Tuesday and already saw success, you can expect even more success December 30th and 31st. Or if maybe your Giving Tuesday campaign didn't meet your goals, you can more than make up for it in those last couple of days of the year. 5% of all donations are actually made on the 31st, making it the biggest giving day of the entire year. And what I love to see is that this year, Giving Tuesday saw a really dramatic increase in giving. So this was surprising to some. $3.6 billion in donations were made on Giving Tuesday. This is an increase of from $3.1 billion last year, a really significant increase. So something to pay attention to. I think Giving Tuesday can be a really good indicator on how the rest of those 3 days at the end of the year go. So also something of note is that there was a 4% increase in the number of donors. And so we like to see more people giving. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can increase not just the number of donors, but also gift size in just a bit. So keep in mind that the Giving Tuesday results are looking really good. And this is something that you can use to really drive momentum to actually raise more even those last few days. So things are looking up. So good news for all of you in those challenging and okay spots. So I want to go over 6 top strategies to capture attention. So this is again more of that high level overview of year end and those high level things that you can do to really see success. And then we'll get into more specific tactics in just a little bit. So this might feel familiar to you. So at every nonprofit that I've ever seen, that Community Boost has ever seen, there's this really typical donation campaign pattern. There's always when you launch, maybe you launched around Giving Tuesday or a little bit before, there's that initial excitement. There's a big increase in donations right at the beginning so that you see a spike then and there. And then there's the inevitable trough. So this is when your communications are going out, your donations are coming in, but it's not that initial excitement phase any longer. You're just seeing a bit of a drop off. And then those last few days, there's a lot of urgency, there's a lot of things that are get dialed in and help you have a big finish. And so, one of the things that we do even at Community Boost is help nonprofits avoid this. We try to help see more donations come in consistently throughout the year end. But today we're really actually talking about that big spike at the end and helping you see even better results at the end of your campaign. But a lot of what I'm going to share will be applicable even in the next coming weeks as well. So, um, and when we look at it, when we look at, how do we actually boost donations through the end of the year, there's ultimately 4 ways to grow fundraising. And so this is what underlies a lot of campaign strategy, what underlies a lot of what you're going to be focusing on in those last few days is 4 fundamental ways to drive growth. So it's acquiring more donors. So you either need more donors to give. You can also increase the average gift size. So maybe you don't actually need more donors. Maybe you need the same amount of donors, just giving more. You can increase donor retention. So this is something that, again, we at Community Boost really focus on is not just getting new donors through the door, but having those donors that gave last year end or potentially have already given this year to give again in those last few days. So you can increase donor retention, getting those existing donors to give again, or you can increase your return on investment. And so this means things like cutting down some of the costs that it takes to run your marketing and fundraising initiatives, or investing in the right tools, the right solutions that can help you see the biggest return. And so if you're using a platform like Givebutter, you're already set to do this. That's already checked off your list. And we can talk a little bit more about how you can see high return on your fundraising efforts in our tactics. So it's really good to know like where we are in the campaign timeline. So for us, a lot of the year-end initiatives start actually in October. So October 1st through Giving Tuesday, we at Community Boost typically do like a pre-wire. So maybe you're kind of already doing this. Hopefully you already did this. Expressing gratitude to past donors, kind of getting people warmed up, feeling all warm and fuzzy ahead of year ends. A lot of impact reporting starts to happen around that time. Just re-engaging your existing donors. If you haven't done that yet, there's still time, but a lot of times we start in October. We'll even run actually ad campaigns on Meta advertising and through other channels that are specifically targeting donors and specifically thanking them for their gifts so that they're more primed and ready to give as year end commences. And then phase 2 over here is Giving Tuesday and December giving. This kicks off that big giving day on Giving Tuesday through December 20th. This is where we are right now, is in the middle of phase 2. And what we're talking about a lot today is really honing in on that phase 3 of urgency, remarketing, and conversion. So that's really what we want to see in that December 21st to December 31st range, especially in those last few days. Phase 4 is a lot of gratitude. I know for many of you who have been doing year-end fundraising for a while, you know that year-end does not end at the end of the year. It really translates to a whole time of impact reporting, gratitude, really helping set the stage for retention for the next year. February, we also highly recommend doing recurring initiatives to really retain those year-end donors year-round. And then that all just blends into March, where a lot of the spring initiatives come in. So hopefully this feels familiar or not too much of a departure from what you're already doing. And so that's where we are. We want to talk about phase 3 specifically. And so this is really where we want to focus on your donation appeal. We want to focus on your channels that you're using and using those channels to drive the highest conversion from your existing audience. So the other initiatives throughout the year are all about audience building. You're trying to get your existing donors to come back. You're also trying to get new potential donors through the door. But that last week or so, that's not necessarily the time for new donors. That's more for converting people who are already interested in your organization and already warmed up to your organization. Maybe they've been following you for a while. Maybe they've interacted with you on social media. Maybe they've engaged with any ads that you've been running or emails. So now is the time in those last 3 days to just get those who are already familiar with your organization to actually go ahead and take the step to make that gift. And so that's really where we focus on. And with this in mind, I just want to share like 6 high level tips that really help you maximize online fundraising this December. So if you haven't already done this, which I would think many of you have, now is the perfect time to actually even thank and re-engage those Giving Tuesday donors. So for everyone who gave on Giving Tuesday, don't count them out for those last 3 days. They may give again. So by continuing to thank your donors from Giving Tuesday and keeping them updated on really where you're at with your campaign, how close you are to your goal, the impact that was already made from the Giving Tuesday gift, but still the impact that is yet to come through reaching your goals, you might actually be able to reconvert those Giving Tuesday donors again. So, number 1, keep it in mind, doing some email outreach, doing some outreach maybe on some other channels, social media, just thanking specifically those Giving Tuesday donors to hopefully retain them and get them to convert again. Number 2 is to finalize your digital communications plan. I know for many organizations, especially smaller organizations, it can be hard where, you have such a big strategy, you have so many big goals, but really, really dialing in your communications plan from now through the end of the year is going to be essential to actually converting those gifts. And so, if you're like many organizations that I've worked with in the past, there's a general plan, there's an overview, but maybe you don't have every single communication mapped out. That's okay, but I want to help you create that structure so that you have a plan and you're able to fulfill it. Number 3 is to create content that drives gifts. And I'll share a little bit more about how you can personalize content and really drive it home, but that's something that you're going to want to think about. If there's any content gaps that you have right now, really leaning into storytelling, really leaning into video specifically, can really help move the needle when it comes to decisions for giving a donation. So video storytelling, really, really effective, something I would highly recommend. If you don't have any more stories left, see how you can repurpose them, see how you can reincorporate stories that you even have shared earlier in the year. And then, of course, really leaning into any of the content that you already have prepared. Number 4 is to optimize your donation page for year end. And good news for you, if you're on Givebutter, you're already optimized. You don't have to make many tweaks, but I can share a few little things that might help in terms of conversion later. And yeah, if you're not, we'll share a little bit more about how you can continue to optimize your donation page, because you're doing all of this work, right? You're trying to get all the comms out. You're posting on social, you're running potentially ads, you're communicating over email, just trying to get people to that donation page. But if that donation page is not optimized for conversion, you're missing out on potentially an exponential amount of donations. So now is the perfect time, if you have not already looked at your donation page and ways that you can optimize that donation page so that more people that land on that page actually complete the gift. Now is the perfect time to do that. Number 5, engage your audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. This is something that we do with so many of our clients, and we've seen such great success because we do a lot of retargeting this time of the year. So, especially in this final phase 3 of year end, where we're just trying to optimize for conversions, a lot of the time our ad strategy looks at specifically targeting people who either have donated in the past or have engaged with our audience on Facebook and Instagram. And so one of the things that you can do when you are running ads is specifically turn on ads to people who have engaged with your content. And I just mentioned video, right? There's a way for you to actually re-engage everyone who has watched at least 1 second of a video that you posted this year, and target your ads towards them so that, again, they're just more likely to convert and become a donor this year end. And last but certainly not least, you can introduce a matching gift. This works time and time and time again. I've seen it across the board. Every time that there's a matching gift in place, there's been studies about this where the average donor actually ends up increasing their donation by 50%. So you're getting a higher gift amount from those donors. And then, of course, you're implementing the matching gift. And so if you don't already have a matching gift in place, it's actually not too late to get one. One of the strategies that I have used in the past is either approaching the board and asking them if their gifts that they're already planning on giving could be repurposed as the matching gift. So now you have something on hand that you can market, especially leading into those last few days of the year, so that you're able to drive even higher gifts and higher conversion. Or approaching a major donor who you're also probably in talks with right now, expecting to give again, and seeing if their gift could be that matching gift that you advertise to your audience. So you might already have something already secured, but if you don't, those are 2 ideas that can make it really approachable to still introduce a matching gift this year end. So I want to share a little bit more about Love Justice International and their 2023 year-end campaign that they ran with us. So Love Justice is an incredible organization. You can check their website out. I actually highly recommend checking out their website. They have so many really cool stories and interactive components to their website that I think you could just learn from yourself. But right now, Love Justice empowers vulnerable children and fights to prevent human trafficking. And so, an incredible organization. We worked with them on their year-end campaign last year. And so, they did their own email marketing strategy, but the ways in which Community Boost specifically supported them was with meta advertising, so Facebook and Instagram ads. We helped them run their Google ad grant, so they were driving more traffic and more of the right traffic to their website to drive conversions for year-end gifts. And we added some conversion design elements to their website. And so just some high level, just so you understand like what this actually looks like in practice. We actually drove 74 donations specifically from Facebook ads. Those 74 gifts actually amounted to $39,644, which actually was a 9.8 times return on ad spend, which if you've seen any other metrics on what ad spend typically looks like, it's usually around you get back what you put in or maybe a little bit more. So anything over a 3 times return on ad spend is like a huge success. And so seeing a nearly 10% return on ad spend is really, really significant, which means that we drove a lot of gifts with just a little bit of funds put into it. So something again to think about, if you aren't already running ads, like it might be hard to get that up and running, but you might want to think about this for next year. Um, and we also, with the conversion design elements that we put on their website. So by conversion design, I mean, pop-ups on the landing page, banners, simple things that drove people from the homepage to the donation page. And that way, we were getting more people to complete donations through those elements, through the traffic that we were already driving to their website with the Google Ad Grant. So 50 donations came in just because of those conversion design elements on the website where they might not have clicked on the donation page otherwise. And that resulted in $18,347 in just donations from those conversion design elements specifically. So that's a little bit of how their campaign looked. Your campaign can look different, but these are just a few really good examples to maybe get your wheels spinning. And so, like I shared earlier, that phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of how we worked with Love Justice really mirrored what I shared. We did a big gratitude pre-wire campaign. Their campaign really kicked off on Giving Tuesday and then ran through the end of the year. And so all of this should be pretty familiar for all of you. And so with all of that being said, I want to share just those 6 tactics that you can use to drive more gifts in those last 3 days. So high level, now we're going to get real specific. Number 1 is to use a multi-channel approach or an omni-channel approach and increase frequency, because if you're doing one without the other, you're missing out. So ultimately, this might be familiar to you. If it's not, this has been like a long held truth in the marketing arena for like, I don't even know how many years, probably like 30 years or something. But it can be traced back to Jeffrey Lance Rule of 7, which states that you must contact your buyers or your donors a minimum of 7 times before you actually make a sale. So actually in recent years, this rule of 7 of you have to get in front of your audience 7 times has actually increased to more of like 8 times. So there's been some updates to this, but ultimately this means that, if you sent an email and you sent some social posts and, maybe you've sent several emails and several social posts about your year-end campaign, unless you are getting in front of your audience 7 times, they have to see those things 7 times. That is the thing that builds the trust and that actually gets them engaged enough to convert to a donor. So, Nonprofit Hub showed that only 59.9% of nonprofits make between 1 and 3 donor touches for their year-end campaign, and that less than 10% make 5 touches or more. So what this tells me is most of the time, you may think that you're even communicating more than enough, but chances are the average nonprofit is not communicating enough in order to make those 7 touches, in order to build that trust and ultimately convert your donors this year end. And so what my biggest recommendation just to actually increase your results is to increase the frequency of communications, but also think about, the number of channels that you're using to do it, because you want to reach people where they are. This is, like even myself today, I've been on Instagram, I have been on Facebook, I've checked my email, I've looked at something on YouTube. There are so many different ways for you to get in front of your audience. I've done Google searches, right? So if you are not on all of the channels, like even just thinking about the things that you yourself engage with every day, if you're not on all of these channels, you're missing out on potential touches that can be used to convert your donors. So my recommendation to you right now is, think about, are there some simple ways that you can um, get yourself out there on the channels that you have at your disposal? I wouldn't recommend, now's not the time to set up a Facebook page if you don't have one before, or a new TikTok or anything. I would just think through all of the channels that you have already at your availability. Make sure that you're maximizing your presence on all of those and increase the frequency on all of those channels. So, again, so if you have one email scheduled a week, bump it up to two, maybe even three. Do some testing, see what works for your audience. See what it looks like to post every single day, because especially in that last week, the amount of touches that you make is really going to make a difference in terms of conversion. And so my recommendation, increase that multi-channel approach, using the things that you're already using, nothing new right now, too overwhelming, you're doing too much. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but just try to maximize the channels that you're already using and increase that frequency of communications. And so that's tip number one. Hopefully that feels approachable. One of the things that I really like to do, even just for ourselves here at Community Boost and with our clients, and I created this calendar template so that you can actually list out just all of the different channels that you're using and go day by day, just what you're doing on each of those channels, having like even little notes like this. It doesn't have to be a huge, complicated, too many detailed strategy. But just having like the CTAs mapped out and what content is going out across each channel can really help you streamline things and make sure that you're having the amount of touches that you need to have to drive conversions. And so just even mapping it out like this can give you a clear visual of, what are you doing on your email? How does that correspond to your website? How does that correspond to what you're sharing on Facebook, Instagram, and etc.? Now, I'm sure many of you also have something like this, but if you don't, Princey is going to drop a link to our calendar template, and hopefully this helps you craft your own comms calendar, especially thinking about exactly what's going on in those last critical days of the year. Even that alone can really help you streamline your full strategy. So now I just went over some of the channels that you might be using. These are a few more that I recommend. Website's supposed to be in this list, so it's not under website, but your website is sometimes nonprofits' most underutilized channel, because so much traffic is coming in on your website with all of the communications that you're putting out there. You're going to want to focus on your website, making sure that that's designed to convert. You're going to want to think about your email marketing strategy. This is still from our nonprofit acceleration report, the most important channel for nonprofits as it comes to fundraising. So thinking about how you're leveraging your email marketing, how you might be segmenting those audiences, really important right now. Social media, like organic social. So if you're not running ads, you can still leverage that organic channels. You might want to do a live stream that can be really interactive, help people learn more about your organization, learn more about your campaign, and ultimately drive some donations. So I always love a live stream from even some of the organizations I've worked with, just like they started running a webinar like once a month and sharing more about their campaigns and their initiatives. And they'd have like a speaker from who is just a staff member or sometimes a beneficiary. And it just really helped people feel more connected to the organization and resulted in a lot of gifts. So something to think about if you don't have that planned out already. Paid social ads. These are typically the most effective at converting donors in of all of the digital advertising. Paid social ads are really effective, especially meta advertising. Bing, Google, YouTube advertising. What's really fun is right now you can run remarketing campaigns to them. So for those people who have already landed on your website, already given you their contact info, maybe they're not a donor yet. These channels are really effective at moving people and getting that additional touch ahead of those last few days. So if you're already using these, think about doing some remarketing, because again, you're able to increase the touches, get them to convert. You might be doing direct mail, so hopefully that has gone out already. phone calls, oldie but a goodie. Get your board involved, get them to make some phone calls for you, especially to donors over $250 a year or more. That's typically like if you need to like segment out and prioritize, that's gone really well for a lot of the organizations I've seen. And think about introducing SMS and mass texting, which I know Givebutter has an incredible solution for. So that way, few channels to think about when you're crafting your comms calendar. And you can dial all of that into your communications plan, just mapping out the date, the channel, who the audience is, who are you trying to target, the content, are you using an image, are you using a video, the graphic, and then like the whatever the CTA, the call to action is, and the link to where they can give. And so what I like to do and what I highly recommend is that you look at your top emails that have gone out so far, those top social posts that got the most engagement, what has been already working well so far for you, and try to replicate that. The more that you can lean into just the data of what you've already seen work well this year so far, and just really lean into that through those last few days, you're going to see even higher conversions because you're leaning into the stories and content and things that have already resonated with your existing audience. So that is my recommendation. If nothing else, just look at what's worked so far, look at what's performing the best, and just schedule more of that. Hopefully that's pretty simple. I know we have about 15 minutes left. I'm just going to try to really give you a few more quick tactics for you. My second tactic is to increase conversions with conversion rate optimization or conversion design. So there are some elements that you can just introduce on your website right now that can actually help you increase the number of people landing on your website who make a donation. So it's a little bit bleak of a statistic, but 1% of nonprofit website visitors will sign up for your email list, and only 1.1% will make a donation. So if you can get more website visitors to actually get to that donation page, actually complete that donation, that like even just increasing by 1% is gonna potentially double the gifts coming through your website, right? There's like small increases can make a really, really big difference. And so with some pop-up elements on your site, really featuring your campaign on your homepage, those numbers can actually average into 3.2% conversion rates. And the average company or nonprofit generates about $12,000 a year just from conversion design elements alone, just increasing the people that are already landing on your website, getting them to your donation page. And those things can make a really big difference. Like Love Justice, they introduced conversion design last year. They raised over $18,000 just by having some simple conversion design elements on their page. And so I went on their page, I looked at what worked last year, I looked at what they already have in place this year, and it's really, really compelling. I land on their page. I'm this was around like the Giving Tuesday time. They had this double your impact this Giving Tuesday, help us continue to protect and serve the most vulnerable across the globe. Your gift will be matched up to $500,000. And then they have that big give today button, or I already donated, which is also a good indicator of, that you can still retarget them for those last 3 days, right? And so I love this messaging, this matching gift. People are more likely to give, and they're likely to give, again, 50% more of the average gift that they gave previously if they feel like they're getting a good deal on their gift and that their donation is really, truly going to be matched. Today, I went on their website. Every second counts. They have this urgency, really nice pop up, and that for a limited time, $1 equals $2. They're doing a couple of really, really great things there where they're driving urgency. Every second counts for a limited time. That's urgency as well. And then $1 equals $2. Very easy for me as a donor to understand that my gift is being doubled and matched. So again, likely to drive that conversion. And even if I click out of the every second counts, what pops up on the bottom of the page is give today and your gift will be doubled. Your gift makes the difference between freedom and slavery. Join us in acting before the next person is trafficked. Tying that dollars to impact, tying the dollars to the cause itself, and almost positioning this as if you don't give, here's what, like the consequences of not giving, and here's like freedom happens when you do give. And so again, really, really strong conversion design elements help drive a lot of gifts. So if you don't already have these things on your website, there's a lot of like simple tools out there that are actually free that you can use to get these set up. And so Wise Pops, there's so many different ones. So just do a little bit of research. Free pop-ups for your website. There's so many options, and some plugins too. If you're using WordPress, there's direct plugins that way. Super simple, super effective. So just be clear and concise with your messaging. If you have too much messaging on the pop-ups, it just gets a little overwhelming. So should be really quick and easy to understand. Provide the value in what the messaging, like what is the donation actually accomplishing. Try to focus on high level details, i.e. a donation of $25 will provide 10 meals, just giving people something quantifiable that they can latch onto. Create a sense of urgency, countdown timers, things like that can be really effective in driving urgency around that gift. And then you might want to do like a countdown every day. It's like X days until the end of the year. That way, you're also incorporating urgency into those conversion design elements alone. We have seen a lot of success with using pictures of the people that are being impacted by the gifts. So if you have a really strong picture to feature, that can also actually increase the number of clicks and conversions. So think about that in your approach as well. Um, Keeping an eye on time. I think we will end right on time, but my number 3 tactic is to personalize your ask as much as possible. So there's been a lot of studies, personalized subject lines are more likely to be opened than those without. Revenue tends to be 5.7 times higher in emails that employ personalization. So the more you're using the name of your audience in that email, which hopefully you're already doing. But also any other personalization elements. So where you might want to think about, their past gift levels and incorporating that into the email. Or, hey, you gave towards this specific program, and this is what like you can contribute this year end to that program specifically. So think about the ways that you can kind of personalize those emails even further. You might want to do some segments into small, medium, large donors, treat them differently. And think about the if you don't do that, the consequences that people tend to get frustrated if they feel like I've given in the past and you don't seem to know who I am, you're not using my name, you don't really know what I give to typically. That can create like a little bit of a disconnect, in which we never want to do, especially as we're trying to drive conversion. So high level, kind of easy things to implement, just names in the subject lines of the emails, segment based on the programs that they've given to in the past, or potentially the campaigns that they've given to in the past. Think about retargeting those Giving Tuesday donors and talking to them a little different. Like, hey, we saw that you gave on Giving Tuesday, but would you help us reach our goals this year end? And just acknowledging their recent gifts so they know that you are already appreciative. You're just giving them another opportunity to contribute and help reach your goals this year end. If you are running social ads, think about running remarketing ads with similar content that everyone previously engaged with, because if they if your audience has interacted with content around a certain story before, make sure that they're getting more stories like that, or maybe a continuation of that story itself. That's kind of what we did with CRI, Cancer Research Institute, in past years, where we'd run ads all year long, but during year end, especially during that last week, we'd retarget people with the same types of content that they already liked already engaged with. Maybe they made a comment, whatever it may be. Maybe they watched a second of an ad, and we specifically targeted those audiences with the right types of communications that they themselves seem to really appreciate. And so, you can see some of the variations of our ads here that we ran to those different audiences. This one I think is going to be really approachable for you. Thinking about impact selling or upselling. There's been a recent update to the statistic from CCS fundraising that says 90% of donors cite the impact of their gift as the main reason for giving. So basically, all your donors want to know how their gift is making an impact. On the Love Justice International site itself, there's these like high level stats, right, of what has been accomplished this year to date. And so I love that they even have like data updated November 15th. This really gives the idea like, hey, this is like fresh stats that, are accurately showcasing impact. But this is more impact overall. And I think this is important to communicate. But I think what's more important for converting and converting higher gifts is to sell donors impact. So you might already be doing this, but if you're not on your donation form itself or in your communications, however you want to do it, think about who is benefiting from the gifts that are being made. Maybe try to break it down by the number of items that are going to be provided by their gift, the time that they're sponsoring, or potentially if you have a hard time nailing down like specific, like $25 provides 10 meals, like, because that can be kind of hard for some types of organizations. Think about, maybe the type of thank you they can expect to receive as an alternative. But the more you're able to say, like in this example, $75 provides 75 thermometers to residents to help monitor individual health. Really specific, right? Having an idea of exactly what your dollar amount does is going to help nonprofit, to help donors choose which level of impact they want to create, and will often include increasing average gift size. So I've seen average gift size double with just implementing this type of framework into their donation page itself or into their communications. So think about it, see what ways you can kind of sell donors impact. If you need like a easy way to do it, think about the full amount you're looking to raise and divide it by the number of people you'll be able to serve next year if you meet that goal. And that's a pretty good indicator of what that impact level can be. I recommend keeping it pretty dialed in, no more than 6 suggested giving levels. People will gravitate towards the second tier. So whatever your average gift size is, I recommend increasing the second tier amount by like $5 or something so that you're just incrementally increasing your average gift size. And then thinking about the ways that you can convert people to the next level. So again, might want to segment out your email list by gift size in the past and try to get them up to that next tier by communicating, hey, you've given $25 before, your gift of $50 will do XYZ, and seeing if you can get them to move up to the next tier. And there's, other ways that you can do this. You can actually convert donors to monthly donors, and having that showcased on your form could also be a really great way to not just get people to give once, but commit to giving all year round. Or after the gift, right? Maybe ask, hey, would you like to upgrade and, make that monthly gift and make an impact all year round with us? And just giving that opportunity even after that gift comes through could be a really great way to upsell your donors. Having donors cover transaction fees is also really effective. And then emphasize any like matching gifts or employer matching opportunities as well. Woo! We're getting right down to the wire here. I promise I will end on time. We have 5. My number 5 suggestion is to drive urgency and a little bit of scarcity. I know There is like this huge thing in the sector where, this can be a little contested, but I myself have FOMO all the time, the fear of missing out, right? And so lean into it. For donors, they get to feel good when they make a donation. They get to participate in helping people and helping you reach your goals. You want them to really latch on to all of the impact that they can create with their gift. So, kind of like what you saw a little bit earlier with Love Justice, a way that you can kind of do this is actually position what the vision of what you're doing and what impact you'll be able to make with their gift, but also on the contrary, what you won't be able to do without their support. Kind of giving that both both perspectives can create a little bit of this FOMO of, oh, but if we don't hit this goal, we won't be able to do this. And that's a very real thing. And I think that's okay to communicate as well. You can also communicate how unique your organization is and how there may be no other nonprofits doing what you do or serving the specific communities you service in the ways that you service them. So think about, what is unique about your organization. That can be a really good messaging positioning point. People are highly motivated by deadlines. They need to understand why they should give right now, what giving by December 31st means. So the more you can communicate that, the more you can tighten that up into one sentence is going to drive a lot of urgency around the gifts and how close you are to reaching your goal. Like those things that are already in Givebutter that have how close you are to your goal, just including that in emails. You can screenshot it, you can share it, whichever ways make sense, but visually seeing how close you are to reaching your goal has been proven time and time again to help drive conversion. So think about those conversion design elements and, incorporating scarcity and urgency and a countdown timer and that thermometer and all of that good stuff into even your website, into your email marketing, and then into your presence on social media. And my last tip, but certainly not least, is to think about your existing audience. You have an amazing community of supporters. There are so many people that have already given, already are really enthusiastic about your cause. And the more you can empower them to actually share with their audience, the more you'll be able to bring in new donors into the fold. So, you can ask your existing donors, if you don't want to ask them for another gift, ask them to share with a friend or family member. You can also challenge your audience on social to tag friends, add an incentive, add a giveaway, whatever makes sense for you. And my high recommendation is to create a toolkit so that those who want to be advocates for your cause are able to share your campaign with their audience and emphasize, hey, sharing this in the last week of the year can help us further reach our goals. And so it's a great way to re-engage people who may have already given, and what a great opportunity they can do to share your incredible cause and mission with their audience. So that
Candace, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I do not want to interrupt, and you did so great on that, but I know we are at 2 o'clock. So, uh, thank you so much for that incredible information. I feel like all of us over here are just spinning with the great info that you shared. Just a little shout out, everyone. Candace has offered to stick around for a few minutes after to answer a few questions. So if you got a hop, we totally understand. You are going to get all of the resources that have been mentioned. You're going to get that slide deck and the recording. If you happen to have a little time, you can stick around. We're going to answer a few quick questions, but please continue to light up that chat with your gratitude. My gratitude, Candace. Thank you so much for this incredible information today, and Princey as well for your help. With that, I think what we can do is maybe go ahead and ask a few questions. If you have to hop, no problem. But if you want to stick around, if you have the time, we can go through a few of those. What do you think, Candace?
Yeah, that sounds great to me. I'm excited to stick around. And I just want to make sure everyone gets the invitation to the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. Our next summit, it's going to be our 10th summit. March 4th through 6th, 2025. It is completely free to register. So if you like this webinar today, if you've been enjoying Givebutter's webinars as well, we invite you to join both Community Boost and Givebutter at the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. So you can scan that QR code, save your seat. It's such a great opportunity. It's free, it's virtual, and there's way more content like this to come at the summit. So hope to see everyone there.
Amazing. I can't wait for it. I'll be there, Candace. You can betcha. In fact, I think I'm already signed up. So that is great. Well, listen, for those that are going to stick around here, we had a few questions. We had a lot of questions. Actually, the Q&A was just lighting up the whole time, Candace. But there are a few that I wanted to highlight here, and if we could take a few minutes. There were a lot of questions specifically around budgeting for and spending on ads. So can you just talk to us a little bit about how to budget and how much we should really be thinking about spending, especially for some of those newer or younger nonprofits on things like Facebook and Instagram ads?
Yeah. So it depends on the length of the campaign, it depends on the audience. But what I would say, if you're just getting started, you're just trying this out for the first time, think minimum $300. I would say $1,000 can really provide even more insights in reaching your audience, but $300 to $500 for first timers is a really approachable thing, I think. And especially if you're just remarketing. Like, I wouldn't do new lists. That's too much for such a small budget. But think about remarketing to your existing audience. You can literally download everyone from your nonprofit CRM or wherever you're keeping your data, right? If it's in a spreadsheet, that's okay too. You can download it, you can upload it, and target ads to those that are already familiar with your organization, and that's where you're going to see a lot of your return go the farthest.
I love that. That's so helpful. Thank you so much. We were hearing from a lot of newer and kind of just starting up nonprofits. So there's a lot of focus on that and really looking at how much we're spending. Kimberly had asked, are you using the same messaging in these kind of end of year messages here as your Giving Tuesday campaign, or are you changing up that content?
So it depends on the organization. I think what is really nice is when there is a bit of a through line. And so you can say, wow, here's like the story that we've been focusing on for our Giving Tuesday campaign. And then there's a continuation of that story. So the more that you're able to kind of keep that messaging consistent, I think it's really nice. Or the alternative would be, hey, so we just talked about, let's say we just told Lisa's story for Giving Tuesday. Now think about Jeffrey's story and like have like a through line there of like, so you met Lisa, now meet Jeffrey, and having similar stories can also really round out your communication strategy if you're not able to continue the same one.
I love that. That's so helpful. And let's do one more. How do you get your first set of external donors when you're a smaller organization and maybe the people that you serve aren't in a place to give, or you're fearful that they're maybe not in a place to give? So, do you have any good, helpful tactics around that?
Yes. And so this is where I kind of come from, is a lot of organizations that are maybe really trying to get new donors for the first time. I think having a platform like Givebutter or something in place really helps just provide the structure that you need in order to receive gifts. But once you have a platform like Givebutter in place, I would highly recommend either exploring peer-to-peer fundraising or just having your board your board refer their friends. So like I was saying in that last sort of little bit, is think about the people who are on your board, because if you're a nonprofit, you already have a board. Get them to donate and then get them to get their friends to donate. And so it's just a really simple way to start. And then equipping them with the language, the emails, the social media posts that they might need to do that is going to be really instrumental in starting from that grassroots place of activating those communities. Now, if you have peer-to-peer, they can set up their own page, they can set their fundraising goals, they can share that with their audience as well. And I've also seen that work really well. Even if the board is just a few people, you know, you got to start somewhere, and it's a great place to go. So think about your board, or just like some people who are just champions of what you do, and get them to ask their friends to give. It's a perfect time for that.
I love that and totally agree. Candace, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and providing all of the great information and tools that you have. If you still have questions, please reach out to Candace. Please reach out to Community Boost. They've got a lot of great resources, as they mentioned today. And of course, like we have shared, we will be following up with the slides as well. So we are so grateful that all of you have joined us here, friends. We are so grateful to Candace and her team as well. And we are wishing you all a bountiful rest of the year. And we look forward to seeing you again in 2025. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This was so great.
Yay! Our pleasure, Candace.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thanks everyone for
everyone.
tuning in. All right. Take care. Have a good one. Happy holidays.